You're listening to the Hunt Suburbia podcast. I'm your host, Pat Guyette. Big bucks I've been dreaming often, every night till I'm in a coffin. Vermont woods to the burbs of Boston, I'm looking for a tree to get lost in. Crisp mornings, little dust in the snow. Quality time, just me and my bow. Fall evenings, I know just where to go for some quality times for me and my bow. It's just me and my bow. Welcome back to another episode of Hunt Suburbia. Today I interviewed Jeff Paradis from New Hampshire. We're sitting in his amazing trophy room, looking at all these deer on the wall. He's got animals from all over the world, including a muskox from the North Pole, an alligator from the southern U.S., and he's killed most of these animals with a bow, including those last two that I mentioned. All around great guy, full of knowledge. He mainly stand hunts, and he lives and dies for bow hunting whitetail deer. We're also joined by Chris Dalti, who is the CEO of Big Woods Bucks and a great friend of mine. He put the interview together for me, and his 13-year-old son, Sam Dalti, who's just getting into hunting, and this year he's going to go bow hunting for the first time, and he hopes to get his first buck. So a lot of great different perspectives on this podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it, and once again, thanks for listening. All right, we're live. Sitting here in Jeff Paradis' amazing trophy room. Had a bunch of great stories, a lot of animals looking at us. Chris Dalti's here as well. He's a little bit nervous about all these bears looking at him.
No, it's the alligator that I don't like.
Oh, he's dead, Chris. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
So Jeff killed the alligator and most of the animals in here with a bow. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much quite a few of them with a bow and arrow.
Where'd you shoot the alligator?
I shot that in Florida. Got a chance to get down there one year and decided I was going to bring my bow and hunted down there in some of the canals and airboat. It's pretty interesting. Definitely different, not like shooting whitetail.
So you shot him where on his body?
I usually typically you got to use a fish arrow. So you shoot him in the back of the head where the gullet is.
Yeah.
And it was very similar to watching the movie Jaws when I shot him and he took off like a rocket ship. Then on the end of the fish arrow, they have the string and there's a orange buoy. He took off, and I don't know if you're familiar with alligators, but they are fast as a fish. He took off like a rocket ship, and the string started going out, and I just kicked the buoy over, and off he went.
And you had to get in, wrestle him into the boat, or how do you get the final kill?
Yeah. I don't think you can wrestle those things. No.
Some people do.
Yeah, Swamp People. I've seen that show.
Yeah.
They wrestle him in. So we got Chris Dalti's here as well, and his 13-year-old son, Sam. How you doing, Sam?
Good. How are you?
Good. Sam just got, he's taking his bow course, so he's going to go out and try to kill one of these deer with a bow.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Jeff, what are you looking forward to this year for bow hunting? Do you have any deer that you're going after? You got any deer that have, you've been hunting for a couple of years you're trying to get this year, or what's your outlook on the season?
Actually, yeah, there's one particular one that I was on last year in here in New Hampshire. So I had tracked him last year in the snow, and I caught up to him a couple different times. I just wasn't able to connect with him. Pretty cagey old boy.
Tracking him with your rifle?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was up where my new property is. There's a big chunk of woods out in there, and I actually ran into him during the archery season. He came in on me at the last light, probably the last 20 minutes, and I turned around, and I actually couldn't believe the size of him. I was impressed. So from that, it was game on. And
must be pretty big if you're impressed, because I'm looking at some of these racks over here. Pretty staggering.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the deer on the wall weighed just over 300 pounds, right?
Yeah, that's that 182-inch one. Yeah.
Is that heart, lung, and liver gone?
Yeah, that's heart, lung, and liver gone.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big boy.
Just 302 or something like that. Yeah.
Little cow coming through the woods, huh?
Yeah, those deer up there are big anyways,
I
you
know.
know. They're just big-bodied animals.
They have to be to make those winners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That buck that you said that you're following in New Hampshire, you saw last year, end of archery season. Are you hunting him in the same patch of woods that you would normally track? Is it a big chunk?
Well, come to find out, in that time of year that I caught up to him, I don't think he's a transient. He's coming from somewhere else, and I think I know where he's coming from. I went over there and scouted, and I think I got his track over in that area. And it's, of course, we talked about earlier about behind houses and so on and so forth,
right.
you know. And he's in an area where you wouldn't typically think he would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been over there kind of scouting around. Sue and I were over there the other day stomping through that ground.
So you're gonna hunt him much differently than you would with the rifle and tracking, right? You're gonna set up in a different spot.
I'll set cameras up. I've got cameras up out there, and I typically won't, I won't visit those cameras every day or every week. I'll wait probably 2 weeks, sometimes even longer than that. Then I'll go in and visit it, just not to disturb it. See if I can get a picture of them, you know.
Yeah. If you're like, I'm addicted to checking my cameras. I check maybe every 10 days, and I'm trying to get better at not doing it. But everybody's got a different outlook on it.
Yeah.
The guy we interviewed last week, he doesn't leave his scent. He doesn't like to get into a spot that he's going to be hunting until the day he's hunting it. And but for me, I haven't seen any difference. I checked those cameras. I showed you a couple pictures of some nice buck. I check those cameras every 10 days. Those bucks are still in there. I think when you're in the suburbs, they're more used to the scent.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, correct.
Tell us why you think that he's a transient buck. I think it's interesting to know your thought on that.
Well, typically that time of year, they're always moving, looking for does. So I think in that where I was at that particular time, there's quite a few does in that area. I hadn't seen them. I very rarely see him. I got him on camera early season in velvet, and he was still. I'd say at that point he was probably 120 inches at that point, and that's still growing. I'm going to say he's when I saw him last year, he was definitely all of 180-inch buck.
Oof.
Wow.
So for southern New Hampshire, that's
for anywhere.
impressive.
Yeah. Big body?
Yeah, he had a pretty nice body on him, but at that point when you look at the headgear on him, the body doesn't make a difference.
Tell me what the track looked like up compared to what's up north. Like, do they have smaller feet?
The bucks down southern, the southern part of the country, they're typically they're not big rounded toes on them. They're more pointy, but they still have the width in the length. And you still look for that track that splays out, dew claws, and especially on dry ground, you know. You can tell.
So how do you plan? Are you planning on hunting that buck early season this year in bow season?
If I can get in his neighborhood, I've always typical think that if you see him early season, if you get a chance to get him on camera and it's preseason, that's typically his home territory, so he'll be in that area somewhere.
So what are you waiting for to go in and kill him?
I'm waiting for a picture.
And then are you wait for the perfect wind and perfect approach?
Oh yeah, archery hunting. There's nothing more critical than wind and scent. Of course, I mean, you could be smoking a cigarette in your tree stand and those big bucks will come up with you, as long as that wind is in your favor.
Yeah.
And I won't hunt a stand. I'll have probably 5, 6, 7 different stands out, and I always wait for that particular wind, and it's just staple. And
even on your on your ingress into that stand, do you always want the wind at your face?
Absolutely.
Even during that.
100%.
So if it's a northern wind, you're walking dead to the north on your approach to the stand as well, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I always wear rubber boots, gloves, and I try not to touch anything, even with that on. My boots, my daughter has a rabbit, and what I do is I have one particular boots that I use for the archery season. I keep those in a plastic tote with my gloves, and I put rabbit pellets in there at the bottom. So it just breaks up gives it a different scent. It's like kind of a natural animal, rabbit pellet. So, and I always put my boots on after I get out of the truck. I always have slippers on or whatever. Last year I was going in on that buck, and Sue had brought all the stuff up to where we were parked, and she forgot my boots, so I had to walk all the way in there with my slippers on. There's a mile walk through the woods with slippers. That kind of sucked.
Oh, that would have been a story if you killed one with slippers on.
I know.
So we were talking earlier about mornings versus evenings. What's your favorite?
I typically mornings for me. I'll hunt anytime, but I feel that that early morning to mid morning area is the best for me, especially that 11 o'clock area. It seems like those bucks are just up and moving, and they're kind of mingling around or whatever, especially preseason. The following stage we talk about preseason, right when they're following the does. If you have does go by, if you can just like everybody says, it's like if you can just hold off and wait, then chances are a buck will come through. And if you can hold off on the small bucks, you got to hold off on the small bucks to get the big bucks.
Yeah. And that's good advice for anybody listening that's just getting into hunting. A lot of people will hunt either just mornings or just evenings. And that middle part of the day, they get out of the woods, they go take a nap, they have lunch. But a lot of hunters are doing that. So even if a deer's not naturally going to walk by you, maybe someone's going to kick some deer to you. If you're hunting in the suburbs, there's a lot of stands.
Absolutely.
People are getting up and moving deer around. So if you can stick it out all day long, your chances are going to be better.
Yeah. Right, sure. It's and if you want to come out, that's fine too.
Yeah.
It's all your prerogative.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the day. That's the key to the whole thing. Enjoy yourself out there. Hunt the way you want to hunt. You don't necessarily have to kill the biggest buck in the woods. Yeah. Just enjoy it.
And even if it's your first time out there, the longer you can spend in the woods, though, the more opportunities you're going to have. Just try to be in there as long as you can.
Right, and the more that you're going to pick up for knowledge.
Put in the hours.
That's the key. Put in the hours. Yeah, without a doubt, it's putting. I can't tell you how many hours that we have logged in on tree stands. Yeah.
And Chris, with tracking, very rarely, but sometimes you'll get a deer an hour after you get onto a track, right?
Yeah.
Just after the truck. But again, there you're putting in miles. You guys just interviewed Scotty Lago, put in over 100 miles on a buck last year, and he was rewarded
Picture of persistence.
Yeah, 250-pound.
I think it was 11 days straight, or 11 days of that hunt, and he killed it on the 11th day. So you got to give him credit for that for sure. It's tough to keep focus for that amount of time.
Oh yeah, it's definitely persistence.
Yeah, he earned that buck, and
yeah,
that's a great story.
Yep, and our guest last week, it took him 7 years after he started hunting to kill his first deer.
Yeah.
And I think Hal always says, too, wasn't it 7 years after he started tracking before he killed his first buck, right?
No, it wasn't his first buck, but it was buck over 200.
Yep.
Yeah, so, you got to put your time in for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We talk about the wind, so it's just to draw a comparison between tracking and the discipline that you need to bow hunt. Wind doesn't matter to us in a lot of the tracking thing. When you feel like you're inside the game, and you finally think you caught him and stuff, that's when it really matters. But if you worry about wind, when you're trying to catch him, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, it's two different concepts between archery hunting and tracking. Tracking, wind does not even enter the equation.
Yeah, until later.
Yep. Yeah.
And sometimes the windiest days are the best days.
The windiest days are the killing days. Oh, yeah. Well, the wind shifts a lot in the mountains, too. So you really, it's the moment when you get close or you think you're getting close that you really got to start judging things. But deer even, they walk with the wind in their back a lot because they can smell you on the...
Yeah.
I had to learn that. Hal taught me that a long time ago, and I didn't understand it right away, but I get it now. And it makes sense, right? They were always checking their back, the wind coming from where they've been just as much, means something to them.
Yeah, you learn that as you track them in the snow, you know, because you're just following, and also, the wind's always at your back when you're tracking them. It's like, that's pretty.
And then you see him run, you see running tracks, and like, well, I know I didn't bump him. It's because he smelled you. You were getting a little too close,
Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting to learn as you go down the track, how the deer lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the deer up north are a little different than the deer down here, too.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Hal says, and I believe it, too, is it's a different kind of deer.
Yeah.
It's a northern borealis deer up north. It's not the same down here. It's like I think he said it's a Virginian deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely a different animal.
But they're smart.
Oh, yeah.
And they've adapted, and they know how to live behind houses.
Yep. Yeah.
They have no problem living close to people.
Yeah.
And they
Which
know how
makes
to
it
die
hard.
behind houses.
Yeah.
But it makes it hard to kill them, too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when guys, a lot of guys who try to teach them this, listen, when you go into the woods, just don't go to the center of the woods because the critical part of it is come back out. When you start in on your hunt, start at the beginning because a lot of times that those deer, like we talked about earlier, they're behind the houses. And that's their comfort zone because they're so used to, it's almost like they can watch you, and they're used to humans.
Yep.
So if you're going to hunt a deer right behind, a house, obviously the legal limit no matter where you're at from the house, but how do you approach it?
It's the same approach that you approach anything. It's almost the same approach as you approach the big woods. You got to look for the kind of the funnel points where they're going, pinch points, so on and so forth. Of course, when I say behind the woods, I don't mean right behind the house. I don't mean directly behind the houses. You just want to be away from the houses and respect everybody else, so on and so forth. But there are pockets of woods that, 100, 200 acres that are behind houses that'll hold those mature bucks.
I'll tell you a quick story about a buck I tracked a few years ago in Rhode Island. I picked him up, and it's a 2 mile by 2 mile block, which is a pretty decent piece of woods for down in Rhode Island. And he ran me for 4 hours all over the place. I ended up jumping him off a knob once, and he got sick of running with me, and he took me right into a neighborhood. And when I left him, he was laughing at me next to someone's wood pile. I had no chance. I saw him. It made me sick. He was a beautiful 8-pointer.
Yeah.
But he knew enough to shake me.
Yeah.
The way to shake me. I'm sure of it. Now, can I prove it? No. But common sense would tell me.
Yeah.
He stayed in the woods, and we had a strategy match for 4 hours, and then he got sick of me.
Yeah.
He took me right into a neighborhood. When I got a really good look at him, he was standing next to a woodpile, and I could see somebody watching a television show through the window. I was sick. What a dejected walk back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
You beat me, so.
And you hear all the time that deer will die, in the suburbs or somewhere where there's houses around. They'll die in somebody's yard, in somebody's driveway. And I think it was last year. Dan Jarris, he follows you guys, follows the Big Woods Bucks guys. He killed 4 different deer in 4 different states last year. I think almost 4 different weapons. I think maybe 2 were with a bow, 1 with a rifle, 1 with a muzzleloader. We're going to have him on the podcast, but I think his New Hampshire buck he killed in a swamp died right in somebody's driveway. He tracked him. He thought he lost him. The next day, he saw a post on one of the Facebook pages. Did anybody shoot this deer? It died in my driveway.
Yeah,
and he got to recover it. It was a beautiful buck.
Oh,
but
perfect.
I think when they get it's their last resort. They're getting close to dying. They go into those backyards as a safety area.
Safe zone. Yeah. It's kind of funny. One of the things I've learned out is hunting the small woods like that is there's really one thing that you can learn from it is a little trick, especially if you have a buddy that when you get in those woods there and you jump one of those bucks, and if there's a little snow on the ground, works even better. Once you jump that buck, have your buddy hold tight and come off of that track downwind of that where you jumped him or bedded it down, and hang tight in that area. There's a little window there. I call it like a safe zone, like a 200-yard window. Stay within that 200 yards, just off it, and you follow that track around. And chances are that buck typically makes a big loop. He'll come back around. He'll come back to that same spot, which is a safe zone that you jumped him out of, and your buddy will probably get a good shot at him or a chance, chance to shoot that buck.
Yeah.
So it's a little trick that I've learned over. I've learned that when I used to have the beagles and I used to run rabbits.
Yeah.
When we jumped deer, the beagles would run out deer and it'd always come back to that one spot.
Right.
So we use that a little bit, as a tactic.
Did you kill any of these bucks on the wall that way?
No, some of the small ones.
Yep.
that way. Not the big ones.
And I think even deer in the big woods do that as well. They always make big loops. It might be a bigger loop, but they come back to their.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
They have a circuit,
yeah. Those big woods bucks up there are a different cat.
Yeah, they're nomads.
Yeah, they're nomads. Yeah,
Their territory's at 10 miles.
Yeah,
Some of them.
yeah. You could be on them all day long.
Yeah, that's because the doe groups are so far apart.
Yeah.
They just need to do that to find what's going to smell good to them, you know?
Yeah,
The most receptive and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Jeff, what do you find? We're talking back to the wind real quick. Are your best bow hunting days for killing a mature buck on a steady, strong wind, a still day where there's no wind? What's your favorite type of wind scenario?
My favorite type is where I get hot and horny for is the day before rain.
Yeah.
And the day after the rain has always been my most productive days. If a light rain, yeah, I'm out there.
Is that because the sun scent settles around you, do you think?
Well, the barometric pressure's down, so you have to be real careful with that because that drops your scent rate down. So you have to play the wind even more. I think it's more so that they're on the move to feed, and they're going to feed heavy before any type of storm. Even in snowy conditions, they're going to feed heavy. And, of course, depends on how long that storm, rain, or whatever lasts. They've been sitting there for, a day, 2 days, not moving, or very little. Mm-hmm. And they're up and moving after that rain. I've always found that real productive.
If it's going to rain all day long and it's going to be pouring, do you ever go out and hunt it? If you don't think there's going to be any breaks?
If you're in the rut, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
They're on the move all the time. If you can, I have rain gear. I'm hardcore. I'm out there all the time. You can't kill them sitting on your couch.
Yeah. It feels better after you suffer a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. That's part of the.
I can get old though.
Yeah, yeah.
Lucky's always fun too.
Well, last year my first buck with a bow was it was after a hard rain in the morning. It was 4 hours of hard rain, and it was 40 degrees or low 40s. And as soon as it stopped raining, I saw a coyote come through. The action just all the wildlife start. All the movement starts picking up. Coyote comes through. 10 minutes after the coyote, that buck walked through. He got up right after the hard rain.
Yep.
It was a beautiful. It opened up. It got very still, and he came up, and I got that opportunity. So that's why I asked, because I like to suffer through a little bit of rain, or suffer through the storm, and then as soon as it clears up, I feel
that's go time.
Yeah,
it's any weather is. Hey, listen, it beats working.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I enjoy the journey. I enjoy the being out there. I don't care if it's raining, snowing, sleeting. Even those days that are like that, I just enjoy it because it's different.
Yeah.
You don't get that opportunity often, and you just never know. Could be the windiest day out there. You never know when they're going to come by. Somebody might bump him, like you said before, and he's going to be coming by,
Yeah.
I think that's important because I think you hunt better when you make it fun for yourself.
Absolutely.
If you hang around, like in my position, if you hang around guys like I hang around the Big Woods team, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Or I have in the past of trying to measure up.
Yeah.
You can only be as good as you can be. That's your goal, is to be the best that you can be.
Yeah.
So, like if you, like you can get caught up in comparing yourself to Hal or you or somebody like that. And you suffer a little bit because of it. But if you enjoy the experience, you do have a much better time, and you hunt better too. I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, you tend to pick up more things, and you learn. That's without a doubt.
Yeah, that's not to say that you don't want to be the best that you can be, but and I pick their brains all the time about it.
Sure.
I'm always calling you.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
you just got to do what's right for you. Just like passing up deer.
Yeah.
You have to get to the point where you stop passing some deer. You got to learn how to kill.
Whatever deer makes you happy. Some people they're going to say they're a meat hunter. They don't care about the rack, and any deer is a trophy for them. So it's personal.
I'm careful with that with Sam because he's just starting out, and he sees he gets to spend time with you guys, and he sees your room, and he has aspirations to kill a big buck.
Right.
I still want him to kill some deer before, like he has already. He's been lucky with a lot of things, but he's been blessed. But I want him to learn how to kill. So if he kills a doe this year, it's going to be good food for us.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah, enjoy it. That's what you want to do.
Gets his first buck. If it's a 6-pointer, it's okay. I'm going to be just as pleased.
Yeah.
If he gets a 10-pointer, I'm going to be angry. No, I'm not.
Yeah, we're coming after you,
right.
Sam. You're off the team.
Yeah, right.
I don't even think I was on the team.
Yeah, you're in training.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about being around, being involved with Big Woods is once you meet all the guys, they're just all down to earth. There's no competition with any of us.
No.
We talk about Hal, how great he is, and so on and so forth. But when you meet Hal and talk to him personally, and be around him, and he's just a regular guy, that likes what he does, and we all understand that, and he understands us, and it's kind of like a little unforeseen thing,
Yeah.
And Chris, and it's.
I found that with Rick too. Rick Labby is, you look at his success, it's like yours, and you don't know how people are, but he's a teacher. He shares so much.
Sure.
I was really impressed by that. I thought first time I met him, and then now that I really know him, pretty cool.
Yeah, I talked to Chris a lot. Rick on the.
He's in Wyoming right now.
Yeah.
What's he hunting out there?
I don't know.
He's scouting for mule deer.
Yeah. That's the thing is everybody lives in the woods pretty much. The time that they have free, they make the most of it. They make the most of it.
Well, there's no better place to live than in the woods, and
right.
right now during all this pandemic shit,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're lucky to be up here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're all
for
lucky.
sure.
All right, it's time to draw the name for the winner of the first week's raffle, which is for an Onyx 12-month Elite membership subscription, which is worth about $99. The winner of the first raffle is Mike Chase. So, Mike, please send an email to huntsuburbia@gmail.com so we can verify that it's you. Give us your address, and we'll ship that right out to you, and you'll have that amazing app to help you this year during your scouting and hunting. And then, again, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for entering the raffle. We're going to do one every single week. This week, since we're interviewing Jeff from the Big Woods Bucks team, I think it's fitting to do the Big Woods Bucks raffle. So anybody listening today, we're going to raffle off a set of books, 2 by Hal Blood and 1 by Mark Sheeran from the Big Woods Bucks team. A lot of great knowledge in these books, and we're separately going to do another raffle. So we'll have 2 winners. Next week, you'll have to tune back in to see if you won. We'll have one winner will win the set of books. The other one will win the Big Woods Bucks fanny pack, wool fanny pack that's great for tracking and keeping all your stuff in there, made by Silent Predator. 2 awesome gifts, and all you have to do this week is go to either our YouTube page and hit the subscribe button on YouTube and leave a comment under the episode, anything you want. And then the second thing, go to our Instagram page, which is @HuntSuburbia. And same thing, follow, leave a comment under any picture that you want to, and let us know how we're doing. And we will draw 1 winner from Instagram, and we will draw 1 winner from YouTube. So that's it. We thanks again for listening, and I hope you guys like it. And next week we'll draw that winner. How'd you get into hunting? So talk about like the origin story. There's a lot of people that might be listening now that are getting into it, and they didn't have their dad to teach them growing up, or it wasn't in their family, and they're learning from podcasts and this kind of stuff. How'd you get into hunting?
Well, I was a little kid that used to chase around frogs in the pond and, chase ducks if you could catch them, but my mother and father hunted, and used to sit there on a Sunday night, at 7 o'clock on my edge of my bed waiting for the truck to come home, see if they had something,
Right.
and I was always, I was so excited for that,
Yeah.
And then my mom got her first deer, and I was just blown away that she got a deer, and, it was I don't know, it's something, I guess it's something in your blood, that makes you earn for it.
Yeah. It's similar to me. When I was a kid, Dad was always going away to deer camp for the weekend, and it was this mystical place.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to deer camp,
Yeah.
And on Sunday, same thing. When the truck came in, you were super excited if there was a deer in the back there.
Yeah.
And then you saw how proud, your dad was to have a deer, to bring some meat home. And then you couldn't wait to get out there and do that and kill a deer and make your dad proud, or whoever you're hunting with, and whoever introduced you. It's all about the camaraderie and that feeling, right?
Yeah, that's the whole key to the whole thing is, it's that journey all the way from start to finish. You talk about, hunting camps. I mean, I love hunting camps. I love going in and listening to the stories and having, at the end of the day, when your buddies come home and you can hear that story, whether they got a deer or not, if they saw some chipmunk running up and down a tree, or an owl or a hawk or just all that stuff. I was fascinated with the stories,
Yep, absolutely. And Sam, how did you? How old were you when you first went out hunting with your dad?
I have no idea. When I came out of my mom, I have no idea.
Now, when he was just able to walk and kind of understand things, we used to go for walks in the woods and find droppings, and he was always interested. So I knew early on that he was going to be interested in just being in the outdoors, and he's just taking a shine to it because he's been around it. He's been around the boys, and he's been around me forever, so since he was born. So he kind of had some good examples to. My dad, it's a unique thing. I'll share something personal. So my uncles used to go to deer camp, and my dad he owned a pharmacy. He used to stay back, and I wondered why, because I always wanted to go to deer camp, and but he always used to take me hunting. But not that long ago, he's getting up there in age now, and we've been having some serious talks, and I figured out that he went to the Korean War, and when he came back, he wasn't the same person.
Yeah.
So the whole killing thing for him is it's a little off. Before, when he grew up, he was a lot more into the hunting thing. Now he loved being with his brothers, and he loved being with me in the woods and my cousins and stuff. But it wasn't for him, so I didn't even know that. He did a lot of it, I think, for me, because my brother doesn't hunt at all, but I do, and I have my whole life, and I loved it my whole life. So it was kind of like an oh God moment when I figured out that it was more for me than for just to spend time with me or do something with me, But that isn't the way it is with Sam and I. He's pretty much into it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see all the pictures.
He's riveted,
Yeah.
Between fishing and hunting, it's his thing,
Sam and I are real close anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we are.
He's got some good people around, real good people.
He's got some good stories, too.
Yeah, great. Well, Sam, how many deer do you have?
I got 2 deer and a turkey.
And a turkey. Awesome.
So far, yeah.
And what's your favorite one?
The deer.
The deer.
Yeah, I like turkey hunting. It's just it's something to do in the spring, so you're not bored.
Yep.
That's how I think of it. I like turkey hunting, but deer hunting's fun.
Yeah.
He came real close to killing a bear a couple of years ago too, but we got winded. The wind shifted. It's in the mountains.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
Yeah.
The wind shifted just right, and
Yeah.
he had to take a couple more steps, and that was. But he's had some good experiences.
Well, we're sitting in Jeff's trophy room, and there's all kinds of animals. There's a musk ox that he killed in the North Pole with some Eskimos. You've got brown bears, black bears, turkeys, snow geese, alligators, leopards, wolves.
Mountain lion.
But you still your heart is with whitetail deer.
Oh, absolutely.
Why is that? Why do you think that is? Because same with me. Like these guys,
Me too.
They go turkey hunting. That's fine. I went turkey hunting. I loved it, but it just nothing measures up to hunting whitetail deer to me.
No, there's nothing like them in the world at all. I think the biggest thing is, I've been blessed. I could do a lot of the things, but it just be around your buddies, experiencing their hunts. And everybody can whitetail hunt, and you can do it together. You don't. Of course, tracking is. We're kind of nomads in a way. In even archery hunting, you're somewhat of a nomad too, because you have to be by yourself if you want to score on the big bucks.
Yep.
But in generally, whitetail hunting is with friends and groups. Your family. Chris bringing Sam up.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. And you could have that whole attachment with it. But there's, whitetail hunting is just it's a whole different animal.
The passion of killing a mature whitetail, or consistently killing a mature whitetail, is it's intoxicating once you get going with it.
Yeah,
there's nothing else like it.
And they taste bad. They taste great, right?
Yeah, they
better
do.
than the bear, better than the alligator.
I don't know about. I like bear.
I love bear.
Oh, bear's
Bear
good.
is-
I do.
Bear's one of my
I
favorites.
like elk. I've been blessed to be able to kill a few elk, and
Yeah.
I like calling animals. It's fun.
Yeah.
But I always can't wait to get home for the whitetails.
Yeah, it's that journey from day one to on. It's when you see a big mature buck, a heavy hitter, there's nothing like it because it only takes a second to look and go, holy shit, now that's a big one,
Even to be close to any kind of
Yeah.
a deer.
Doesn't have to be a mature
I love to
buck.
watch their mannerisms. The more that you look at that, you can read their body language.
Yeah.
I love being able to tell what's the next move, or I guess a lot. What's the next move?
Yeah, yeah.
I like that stuff.
Well, that's the thing is that if you can hold off, you can learn so much
yeah.
from them. The little flicker of the tail, the ears, when they look back and they turn their ears and they look back, there's something coming behind them.
Oh, yeah.
And if a lot of guys could learn that, just by holding off, they can watch them and they can learn all that and learn their body language. Because that tells a lot.
Well, you learn that from a doe, too. So if the doe's doing that,
Absolutely.
you're like, oh, there's a buck coming. And if it's a young buck, then chances are it's going to be a bigger buck behind him, right? If he's looking behind him.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's those mature does, those matriarchs are just as smart as those big bucks. And don't ever
Sometimes
be fooled by
smarter.
that. Sometimes smarter.
Yeah, because when the buck is with that doe and he's got his mind on one thing, he's pretty stupid. I've seen him do some stupid things where they lie down right in their track. It's pretty. They're pretty. You could throw a rock at them, and I'm not sure they'd run.
Yeah.
Chris just mentioned calling in animals. I want to ask, from the bow hunting scenario, what's your take on calling? When do you call? When would you rattle as opposed to grunt?
I don't really do a lot of rattling, but I do have a grunt tube, and I have a couple different tones of them. So, some guys are aggressive calling, but I'm not. I'm more subtle, but I call all the time. Even in the stand, you can do some locating grunts.
So calling all the time isn't aggressive?
I mean, when I say all the time, I have my grunt tube with me.
Yeah.
I'll probably, if I don't see a buck in the area, I'll sound off. I'll do some locating grunts. I'll probably wait a half hour, then I'll grunt again.
Yep.
Do that. But if I see them and he's cruising by, it's all bets are off. I'll call him until I catch his attention. And of course, everybody knows that when you call them, if they're not paying attention to you, if they don't turn and look, usually they're moving on. But a lot of times they'll hear you. They don't necessarily have to look over to you, and they'll circle and come back. And before you know it, they're down right there under your stand or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but calling, that's an important part.
Now, do you let the morning kind of progress and wait for the first couple hours before you start it, or are you calling a half hour after sunrise?
Oh no, it's I'll start probably just at first light, just legal. Even maybe a couple minutes before.
Yeah.
Because if he's over there.
And you're soft calling.
Soft calling, it might take him 5-10 minutes to get to you, so it's legal shooting time.
Yeah.
Time doesn't dictate for me. When I see them, it dictates everything. But as far as time, don't be afraid to call because it doesn't bother them.
And your favorite call is a soft grunt.
Yeah,
right?
locating three soft grunts. I'll do a bleat. A small bleat. Try not to get too aggressive with that, but mostly just grunt.
And is there any scenario that you've rattled in a buck or you've used a rattle?
Up here, it's a buck to doe ratio. The more bucks you have around, the better chance if you're rattling. Down south, you rattle. I mean, there's definitely a lot of more buck to doe ratio. I just found it, for me, rattling has its place. When you got those antlers in your hand, and you're rattling, and all of a sudden you turn around, he's standing there, and you're bagged.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to get those things out of your hand. They make a lot of noise. I mean, I just never was a big rattler anyways. Not to say that it doesn't work,
Yeah.
The biggest hang-up I've had to get over with calling is giving away my position.
Mm-hmm.
There's something subliminal in my mind.
Yeah.
And I know it's wrong, and I fight it all the time, but I hate to give up my position. And I know that's wrong, and I don't advocate for anybody not to call. I hate giving up my position. It makes
Yeah.
me feel vulnerable. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to give them a clue that I'm even there. You know, you take all the pains to be scent free. You walk like you're walking on eggshells to
Yep.
get in there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You climb in your stand like if you rattle your. I always feel like the game's over if I creak something on my tree stand, which is not true. I get that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you take
that's-
so many pains that I have this stupid subliminal thing in my mind, like, and I know it's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't feel that way because it's a whitetail deer. They're very vocal.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you get to those
Yeah,
certain
and I
times
know
of
that
year.
I've heard it, but
The fawns are vocal.
Yeah.
The does are vocal. You know, so it doesn't bother them.
no.
So
You don't have to sound like with moose hunting. I've learned you don't have to sound. All moose have different. They have different voices. They
Yeah.
call a little differently. So and that's the way it is with deer too.
Yeah.
Some of them really guttural or.
yeah,
So yeah, I get that whole thing. It's
Yeah.
just like you and I have a different voice. But
yeah.
Yours is a lot higher than mine.
They certainly like different tones. I've realized that. You
Yeah.
know, that's why I carry two different
Yeah.
grunts with me.
That's
A higher
interesting.
pitched-
I didn't pick up on that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I found out that some of those, like I say, yeah. I mean, you could. I've had bucks cruise by, and I have a three-way tone, an older model that I use, and I try to change the pitch a little bit. Then I'll have one of those. It's a cheap one, plastic, and I'll pull that thing out, and he'll snap his head right around, and before you know it, he's making a circle coming back. It's kind of different, but I'm not afraid to call. Yeah, nobody should be afraid to call anytime.
What about? Do you ever do mock scrapes?
Yep.
Yep. And what have you found with them? What's the key to a good mock scrape?
Well, you got to get it if you're in the area. So what I do is a lot is during the wintertime. I'll go around when I'm to brush up on my tracking after the season. I'll go around with a little jar and a scoop, and if I'm tracking a buck in the snow, and when he stops and pees,
Yeah.
I'll take a scoop and I'll scoop that snow up and I'll put it in my little jar, okay,
Yep.
and I'll collect it as I'm going along, and I'll take that, put it in the freezer, and leave it for next year. So I have fresh deer urine. I do that with the does too.
And it's a deer that's in the area too. So
A deer that's in the air. It doesn't necessarily have to be the deer in the
you
air.
think they can recognize that though? Do you think
I'm sure
recognize a
they.
particular
I'm sure
deer?
they could. I mean, they'll have. But anyway, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is during the before the season, I'll let it draw down to a liquid. Then I have fresh urine.
Yeah.
Mixed.
Yeah.
And I'll make a mock scrape, and I'll put that fresh urine, whether it be doe or buck, and I'll put it in that scrape. And I use it as a cover scent too. Mm-hmm. So that seems to work pretty well. Rather than using something that's store bought, I just, I don't trust that.
So not every time that you hunt, you're hunting over a scrape or a mock scrape, right? Or
No.
No. So when do you use it? What's the ideal scenario to actually use that?
Like last year, I used it. We have another method that we use. We call the buck rag. My buddy has a goat farm.
Yeah.
So we take a rag and we rub of course it has to be scent-free rag, and you take that rag and you rub down all the does that you think are receptive, and we have that. We store in a plastic bag. And my wife came up with the idea. So she shot her buck last year that way.
And she's quite the hunter as well.
Yeah. She's a go. I told her this year she's on her own though.
You may eat those words.
Yeah. No,
How big was her buck last year?
That was an 8-pointer.
Nice buck.
Yeah, it was a beautiful. Yeah, it was 52-yard shot with her bow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty
That's a
good.
long one.
It's cool. But he came in on that buck rag. She hung it in the tree, and he came right.
Do you walk in with it, like
was
drag
gonna
it
ask,
behind
yeah.
you?
In a plastic bag.
Oh, you don't drag it behind you.
No, you can drag it.
Yeah. Some people
I've done
they
that before.
tie it to like their boot.
Yeah,
or something.
that's definitely one of my top methods when going to a stand, especially if you're hunting around a bedding area.
Yeah.
You take that drag and drag it. I've shot. Where is the? That one right there, that big 9-pointer. That's a Pope and Young.
Which big 9-pointer?
Yeah, which one of the?
That one with the.
Did I tell you I hate you?
Yeah. Trying to be modest.
Yeah. You don't have to be. This is awesome.
So I told you I was hunting around that the golf course.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pretty good area. So I knew that he was kind of around. I've had pictures of him before. So I came in one night and I had a drag. So I put the urine on the drag. I dragged it all the way, and that was an afternoon hunt. I came in on him. I dragged all the way to my stand, and I hung that rag in the stand. At the base of my stand, I jumped up in my stand, and I don't think it was 20 minutes later, and here he comes, nose down. And I was it just caught me off guard. He goes, holy smoke, he's already here. And I shot him from straight down. He was under my stand at that rag, and I shot him right in the top of the back.
And you have...
Did he go anywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, he rolled down the hill.
He went to the 9th hole green.
Yeah, nice hole green.
He was legs up on his back.
Yeah.
Was he in that 1 acre patch of woods there?
I don't know if he came out of that one, you know,
Yeah.
because I was hunting the back. There's a large section of woods around that, you know. Of course, those deer love that, you know, fertilized. Anything fertilized, it's nutrition to them. It's candy and so that's why I was one of number one go-to areas to hunt around a golf course.
Yeah.
Just something about the nuts. They fertilize all that ground, and those deer would go into that one block of woods in that 1 acre in the middle of the golf course, and they'd be bedded down there all day, and guys would be golfing around it, and, you know, and I would go in there and...
We talked about that on the way up. How many bucks we passed on the way up here, huh, Patrick? It's
side of the highways.
Yeah. It's like in those clover leaves. They lay in those clover leaves. Who's going to go in there all day to bother them? Nobody
does.
will.
Have you gone in from a highway, like you know, on the way up here 495? Because you need to have somebody drop you off, right? You're not parking on the side of the highway if it's a major
No, you
highway.
can backdoor a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a section of woods around here that backdoors a highway, and I can get into that way. But yeah, that's another crucial area. There's something about highways, roads that a lot of traffic that those deer will bed down next to. I don't know if it keeps them, you know, occupied or they like watching the traffic go by, but nobody hunts next to highways.
And
A swamp next to a highway is probably, it's something to look into. The first thing I look for that's what I look for. And if there's a hummock out in the middle of that swamp, an area where there's a small island or whatever, that's a number one spot that I focus on. I'll go in there and look
that's
around.
where they're bedding, right?
They'll go out right out in the middle of that.
Back in June, we went up to Champlain to smallmouth fish, and on the way up on 89, we're going up the road. It was just before dark, and I look up, and there's a big body deer, and I'm like, Sam, there's a big body deer right there. He picked up his head. Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
It was right what you just said.
Yeah.
Right on a highway where there was a swamp,
Yeah.
and it looked like he just got up. He was stretching.
Yeah.
And he started feeding right on the road, right on
Yep.
the side of us. I couldn't believe this big old buck like that.
Yeah.
But there was a swamp right there. He had just come out of. I didn't get a chance. I was doing 80 miles an hour going past there, but just to know that there's probably a hummock, like you said, you know, I can imagine that. Yeah, it's really cool.
And there's not a lot of traffic. That's kind of a safe area for them.
Right.
Nobody. That's where you're going to find them.
Yeah, they don't want to be messed with.
No,
They just don't want to be messed with.
They're big old cantankerous old men. They don't want to be
right.
bothered. You know.
Yep.
I last year coming back from an evening hunt, you know, pitch dark. It was an hour away from the house, and I'm on a highway, getting off at an exit to transition onto another highway.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of traffic, so I'm slowly going around this curve.
Yep.
And holy shit, the biggest deer I've ever seen in my entire life was standing there, head kind of hanging over the guardrail.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was gigantic. He was probably a 170 inch deer.
Wow.
That's a nice deer.
It was awesome. I went back home. When I got home, I looked at it, and I mean, there was a thin strip of land that followed the highway and followed those exits.
Yep.
And then it was swamp, like very wet swamp.
Yeah.
A very wet one.
Yeah.
And a tiny little peninsula of land that went out.
Yeah.
Right exactly where that buck was. So,
Yep.
you know, he just stays there.
Yeah.
He hangs out in that little tiny little peninsula of land.
Yeah. Nobody
bothers him.
Yep. No predators go out there.
No.
And it doesn't make a difference how that swamp, even if it's a wet swamp, if it's full of water, it doesn't make a difference. They're going out there. They will swim across there. The water does not bother them.
Yep. So when it comes to swamps, like where do you hunt up? You set up on a transition most of the time, or if there's an island, you try to get out to the island, like you mentioned.
Sometimes that's tough. I don't like going out to the island, because I don't want
to get out there too.
Well, if they're out there, don't like to, disturb them. So if you want to set cameras up around it or whatever, or just go to the edge and look around, chances are you'll find some activity. You'll find activity like a lot of times after the season, the rubs, scrapes, so on and so forth, that's when they're definitely around. But you could tell that they're going out there.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple swamps I've been scouting just the perimeters and putting up some cameras this year, but I've never really hunted a swamp.
To me, you don't go in those swamps. You're gonna kill them right at the edges. They're coming out, so you find and they won't be obvious either where they come in and out.
No.
It's not like a group of deer coming in and out. It's going to be him coming in and out of there, and it'll be subtle. But that's like tracking too. Some of the subtle things make the biggest difference in the world. And the more you do it, the more that you stay in the game.
Yeah.
You don't lose them or what have you. But so I know we have a swamp down where I've been hunting since I was a kid, and we've killed a lot of bucks over there, and it's coming in and out.
Yeah.
But like you said, on the transitions, well, they're edge animals anyways, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're edge animals, so you're gonna get them something like that.
Yeah, definitely edge animals, without a doubt.
How many of these bucks are swamp bucks?
That big main buck is a swamp buck.
Beautiful 10-pointer.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
probably a lot of them lived in a swamp at one point, or they've been in there. And
we should take some pictures, and then you could put them up on your.
We'll definitely put up pictures
on your Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
So they can see what you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
be cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
I guess a lifetime. Look at this thing. I don't think you can fit anything else in here. You better retire. Yeah. Let me and Patrick kill a few of them.
What about me?
I need to.
You better earn your keep, kid. You can drag them for us for a few years.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Sam's gonna get a big 8-pointer this year.
Oh yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Well, I'm definitely gonna put more time into suburban hunting. Like I've been bitten by the tracking bug for a long time, but in the big woods. But But first of all, when I was growing up, and when you were growing up, because we're about the same age, I don't think there was as many suburbia bucks, we'll say, around, or I didn't realize there was.
Yeah.
But I realize now, and with him, I can't drag him out of school.
Yeah.
As much as
I
like
wouldn't
to.
mind.
I know you
I wouldn't mind.
But we can really spend a lot more time even in the first part of the season chasing some of these suburbia bucks. And
yeah. Well, it's nice. I mean, it gives you an opportunity if you get out of work, you just jump in the woods somewhere. Then if you want to go hunt in the big woods and spend.
I'm definitely going to bring my bow out of retirement there, and we just got him a bow, so
I was telling Chris, it doesn't mean that you're not going to still go tracking and love tracking.
As soon as the snow flies, I'm gone.
Oh yeah.
It just extends the season, and it's like I started hunting that way just out of necessity. I was living in Boston. And my deer camp's in Vermont, and that was the only place I hunted for years, and I just didn't even think. It didn't even register that there'd be big bucks, within a half hour of Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Massachusetts got some phenomenal deer.
And I just didn't think about it. And so now 10 years into living here, I bought a house, and out of necessity, I'm like, I need to learn how to shoot a bow. And I need to learn how to hunt closer to home.
Yeah.
I still love and can't wait to go to deer camp, on opening weekend.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I can't wait to go to Maine and try tracking in a big tract of woods. But, you got to hunt the way that, near where you live, you got to figure it out.
Yeah, it's easy to just jump in the woods where you're around,
Yep.
It's just part of the whole journey to it,
Yeah. I'm convinced it'll be a lot of fun to strategize to try to kill one of these old boys because I think it'll be very satisfying.
Yeah, just when you think you got them figured out, you don't.
Yeah, they burn you. I love that though. If you got to lose, you're going to lose in one of those. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason for them. They're definitely the masters of getting away and hiding.
Speaking about bow hunting, what's your feeling on fixed blades as opposed to mechanical blades?
Here we go.
Yeah, because Patrick and I had a discussion about this on the way up. So,
I've never used mechanical blades. Sue and I tried them one year, and she shot a a doe, and she got a pretty good hit on it, and I tracked that thing for, I mean, I gave it time, and I tracked that thing for 3 hours, so we never caught up to her.
Did you recover the arrow?
What's that?
Did you find the arrow?
Yeah, I found the arrow.
Did it open?
Yep, it opened up, and there was 2 blades missing off it. One blade was still attached. But I've always been a fixed blade guy, and I shoot. I shoot a little lighter than some guys. I shoot like 85 grain, and I've always been fascinated with fixed blades, anyways. But there are some fixed blades out there that, I mean, I've shot fixed blades before, and they've come apart because the way the mechanicals, how you put them together.
Yeah.
Now I shoot a Le Mans Tex, 85s if I can find them, or buzz cuts. I love buzz cuts.
Why do you like the 85 grain as opposed to the heavier blade?
Because I like speed. I'm a big speed guy and accuracy. And not to say the 100s, 125s are any different, but I grew up on 85s. It's my most comfortable, weight. I've shot.
And you shoot longer range sometimes than the average.
Yeah. If you're shooting out like hunting out west or whatever like that, I mean, your average shot is 60 to 80 yards.
And it'll drop less the lighter it is, right?
Right. Trajectory is less. Yeah. Lighter arrow, faster. Do you get the knockdown power? I mean, to me, it's not about kinetic energy at that point. It's about placement.
Yeah.
And archery is all about placement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's about
shooting
making
a gun
the
is
ethical
about
shot.
placement too, though.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't hit them, hit them right, they ain't going down. They're tough animals.
Yeah.
But with the gun, at least you guys can unload that.
Oh yeah.
At 200 yards,
You can get 4 shells into
Yeah.
them.
Oh, yeah.
Not with the muzzle
seconds.
loader.
Yeah, no.
You get one shot with the muzzle loader,
Yep.
and that's it.
That's all you need with
gotta make
Mark's
that-
gun.
Yeah, that Woodman.
You gotta make that one shot count.
Yeah, that's the first. That's the first gun that he killed a deer with.
Yeah.
Was with that muzzle loader.
Oh, that's
with
interesting.
the wooden
That's
arms,
awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's one right there.
Yeah. I have yet to hold a Woodman.
Right there, grab it.
Yeah,
Let me grab that.
We'll. I think with anything else, though, maybe you'll agree with me, maybe not, Jeff, but it's what works for you too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's no definition to say that it's bad to use a mechanical over a fixed. It's what works for you and what you believe in, really. It's like fishing.
Yeah.
You find a lure that you build confidence in.
Yeah.
Because we always say confidence equals success.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all, at that point, it's all prefaced. I mean, everything has come so far. It's so
This gun
advanced.
feels amazing in your hands.
Yeah.
It's 5.5 pounds.
And you put a scope on it too.
Yeah,
Huh?
Trijicon.
It's a cool reticle on it. Nice.
Yeah. So in Rhode Island, it's been a tradition to use a muzzleloader because all of November, most of November, the season is muzzleloading season. So I've had a lot of muzzleloaders over.
Yeah.
Since I was old enough to start carrying a muzzleloader, I started off with that TC Renegade. I think that's my first one in smoothbore.
Yeah.
Then we went to a rifled barrel with that, and then from on there. But never have I shot. When I shot that the first time, I was like,
Oh, Mark's? Yeah,
the Woodman. I can't.
I love that gun.
I just can't do it different.
Kinda
I
do
like
the other
accuracy and I like shot placement because I know how much it means to
Oh,
humanely
sure.
killing that deer. So
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing like those guns. I mean, I can't say enough about them.
How much do you practice throughout the year with your bow? For someone listening that's getting into it, and we're talking about ethical placement of shots. You want to make sure that you've got a shot that's going to kill that deer quickly.
Well, shooting, I tried before the seasons. I mean, I like shooting the courses and stuff like that.
Yep.
We shoot not often during the summertime, but enough. But when it starts getting closer, I mean, I'm out there 50 arrows a night, a minimum.
Great.
And just keep on there because you need that edge in all positions, different yardages.
You get up in a tree and shoot. from
Absolutely
elevation.
on top of
Yeah.
the house, anywhere.
Yeah.
Because shooting at animals is not the same as shooting at targets. It's a whole different ball game. So you have to, the more comfortable you are, and once you start shooting, you get that edge. You know when you're at that optimum time that you can, any arrow that you fling out there, you know you're hitting the target.
Now,
So-
do you shoot without a rangefinder sometimes, so that because you're not always going to be able to range that deer?
Oh,
right? So
absolutely.
how important is that?
That's
Guessing the yardages.
yeah, it's very important. Of course, when you get into stand, you're always ranging out things.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you forget the ranges. So
I'd like to say something about angles.
Yep.
Angles early on in a hunter's career is very important because it matters about bullet travel. It matters about arrow travel, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So wherever that bullet hits, I mean, if it's quartering away behind the shoulder, driving up through, but you got to picture those angles. So it's important for a new hunter.
Yeah.
To
Absolutely.
learn that right off the bat, whether you're a gun hunter or you'll have a lot less wounding that way.
Yeah, archery hunting is form. I can't say it enough. Get your form down. That's the first, for me, is the first objective teaching somebody.
Yep.
Is work on your form, because you should be able to close your eyes, pull back, and your arrow should be right there sighted in without even...
So like you were teaching Sam earlier, just basic, make sure you come back to an anchor point every time.
Yep.
And it's because you want it to be the same scenario. With a gun, you want it to be an extension of your arm.
Same
you
thing.
gotta say, right?
Same
It's
thing.
like,
We close our
it's
eyes.
gotta be natural.
Bring that peep sight. Bring that gun up at the peep sight. When you open your eyes, if you're not right where you want to be, you need to continue to practice. We call it muscle memory.
Yeah.
It's just repetition.
Yeah.
But you owe it to that animal to get so it's a fluid motion, because especially tracking, things go down quick a lot of times.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about taking that safety off, it coming to your shoulder, finding where that bead is, because actually you don't even see the peep. You see right through it. Because we take the aperture right out, but swinging with that animal, I know when I hit that shoulder, boom, I'm going to take my first one, and I'm racking a shell, never leaves my shoulder, and I'm on to him again until he's either down or I got nothing left.
Yeah.
Which I hope to never happen, but it is what it is, right? Yeah, that's how you learn how to shoot with a running animal. I know it's a controversial thing, but if you practice enough, you can proficiently shoot a running animal.
Oh yeah, well we're up there, all of us practicing up there at Joel made that. That was a neat rig that he made. That target come down off the hill on a cable, and you practice those scenarios where you have a moving target and you can actually shoot at it. So that all that is helpful, no matter whether it's gun hunting or archery hunting.
Yep.
You got to be proficient at it.
Because if you try to hold on a deer with a bow, or I don't even know with the target, if you try to hold exactly, you can't do it.
No.
You cannot do it. You can't hold exactly.
No.
With a gun too, the longer you hold on it, Hal always teaches people when we take clients, and he's taught me a long time ago too, is when the bead's where it's supposed to be, let her rip. Don't wait. Because the more you wait, you see that barrel. I've seen it many times, especially bear hunting. People get nervous bear hunting, and I've taped a lot of people bear hunting, and I watch them. They wait till it's exact, it's. And they wait a little longer because they're not quite sure, and the barrel starts rolling.
Yeah.
I've leaned over to people and say, "Bring the gun down, take a breath, and then do it again," because you're gonna miss. 9 times out of 10, when that bead settles, let her rip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I only shot 2 deer with my bow, and it was last year, but both times it happened super quick. I mean, I pulled up, I drew back, and as soon as it was there, I mean, I didn't hold it back for more than a second either time. It's just, and they both were really good arrows. The deer died within 30 yards, and I don't know what's the longest you've held back at full draw on a deer?
Yeah, feels like days sometimes.
I know. I see it sometimes on TV. I give them credit.
And do you practice that when you're practicing? Do you hold back sometimes 30 seconds?
Sometimes no. I mean, generally what I do is if I see a heavy come through, I call them heavies. Instantaneously if they are that big buck. You know, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out, because all you got to do is just look at the headgear.
Yeah.
I immediately do not focus on the headgear. That's the first thing that you have to learn is don't focus on his headgear, because if you focus on his headgear, that's a major distraction. Some guys get excited, and
you have a lifetime of focusing on
just decide to kill, right?
Yeah.
You
want to focus on think small, aim small when it comes to archery, and get that that optimum spot, which is the Y, up his leg, and that Y right there. That's where you want to aim.
Yeah.
But you also have to know the angles too. If he's quarter 2, whatever. I typically don't shoot at deer that are quartered to me.
Yeah.
Because it's too much bone activity in the front.
What about when the one we talked about earlier? You shot directly under your stand.
Straight down.
Where do you aim there?
Well, I usually try to aim to the left or the right of the spine, or if, some guys will aim directly on the spine. Well, if you break their back, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Typically right just back of the shoulder blades where the lungs are, anywhere in there.
Yep.
So, right in the breadbasket,
I shot a deer between the shoulders one time, right underneath. I mean, that's the fastest I've ever seen anything die in its life.
Yeah.
Before it wasn't even close to hitting the ground yet, and it was flat. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Great way to go. He didn't know what the hell hit him.
Yeah.
Never even heard the gun go off.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's all about practicing, practice. I can't say it enough. Practice. Even when you're at the top of your game, it's still practice because
you're still learning every day too.
Yeah, because there's those instances that it just doesn't come through for you. You might, for some strange reason, you might miss or whatever. Like cold weather hunting for me. I had a big buck come in one year, and he was a cranker. He was probably a 150-inch 8-pointer, which is a monster 8-pointer. And it was, I don't know, it was like 10 below zero. And I'm sitting in my stand, and he come through, and I'm going, and I was all puffed up and,
Michelin Man?
Yeah, the Michelin Man. It's like, and I thought I had an optimum shot on him. He was probably 22 yards.
Yep.
And I shot right, perfect location, and I hit him up in the neck, right no man's land.
Yeah.
And I and losing the deer, I just shot in that no man's land, and saw him a week later, and he was fine, still a little hurting, but he was still good. But it come to find out, it was, it was me. It was being all bulked up. So if you're hunting cold weather, you got to practice in your cold weather gear.
That's what last year, the 8-pointer behind my house that I had, the only opportunity I've ever had at a mature whitetail.
Yep.
He went by 65 yards. I ended up no shot, and I called him back in. I did a rattling, and the rattling, it goes back to that too, because he came back.
Yep.
But he stayed 45 yards, and he kept stuff in between me and him.
Yep.
Because he didn't see any deer fighting. You know what I mean? The grunt.
Yeah.
I think Chris was telling me when I showed him the spot. The grunt. He can come in and a buck, one single buck can be hiding. Or be behind something. But if you're not seeing chaos and the fighting happen, then he knows something's up.
Yeah.
But the second thing was, I did have a spot where if he turned around and he got into that spot, I was going to shoot.
Yeah.
And he did turn around and he got there, so I was full draw. I let an arrow go, but I was wearing a puffy jacket that I never practiced with. And the string hit that jacket. It was very loud, and the arrow just didn't even have a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There's, if you're hunting, in those conditions, you're wearing different clothes, so on and so forth. You have to practice with in that scenario because it's a whole different ball game.
How do you even shoot with a puffy jacket? I haven't even tried it after that because I don't plan on wearing it.
Well, there you go. Don't wear it then.
Yeah, not gonna
or
wear
you
it.
got to practice with it on, whether it's middle of summer or whatever. If you're gonna hunt cold weather, right? You should practice with your cold weather gear anyways.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that when we travel around, we can hunt, late season.
Yep.
Archery, because there's different seasons are late for archery, so you practice with that cold weather gear.
Yeah.
It's no different than gun hunting. Even when we gun hunt, when we're tracking, it's it's a different game because you're dressing light. When you're tracking, you step out of your car, you're supposed to be freezing.
Yeah.
But some guys like to hunt in tree stands. I like hunting in tree stands in cold weather too. During the gun season. But when you're shooting a gun and you're puffed up like a balloon or the Michelin Man, you should be practicing with that also because when your butt of your gun comes back, usually your butt of your gun's in your shoulder.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be on your bicep. You don't even know it, and that's going to throw you off.
You could end up breaking your nose.
I did that.
Yeah. It's all about muscle memory, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's about that whole thing of where the gun mounts and not
Yeah.
thinking about it, but it does throw things off. I
It
can
does.
see how that would throw things
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And those are years of learning mistakes,
Yeah.
and like I said before, no matter how proficient you are, you still make mistakes. And don't like I don't get embarrassed with that anymore. I made a mistake. As long as I didn't affect that animal,
Yeah.
that I'm good with it. And I used to get mad at myself way back and angry because I made that mistake. But now I laugh it off. I go, yeah.
You really do learn something about it.
Yeah, you do learn it. You learn that you got that buck there.
Yeah.
You did something right. Learn from that you got him there. You did something right. Even though that you missed him, you still won the day.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
I think you really need to think about what happened. And then but at some point you need to let it go, because if you continue to bring it along with you, you're going to mess up on something else. You're not going to be in the game.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about it all the time, and I don't want that to happen again, and it's like life.
Yeah.
You stumble your way to success.
Yeah, yeah.
You and I haven't made very many mistakes in life, huh?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Well, we're let's get close to wrapping it up here. What's your goal for this year? Like, do you have a buck you want to kill? Do you have any deer hunting goals this year, Jeff?
Yeah. Well, of course, we're headed to Illinois, and I got some property down there. I go there every year, so that's always exciting. But we're talking about going to a couple of different places. Mark and I talk about maybe going out to out west somewhere. That's one. Maybe Nebraska or something like that, or maybe back to Ohio for the late muzzleloading season.
Yep.
Talk about Mississippi,
I heard there's a lot of deer in Mississippi.
Yeah.
I'll give you 10 tags if you can fill them.
Yeah. The key about with traveling the nice thing about it is that over the years, what whitetail hunting is that, it's gotten a little bit more pricey, but you don't have to pay to go on a hunt.
Yeah.
As long as you make contact with people and befriend people and and know people across the country, it's easy to do. A lot like that's how I learned. Met my buddy Kelly. I met him in South Carolina, and him and I and his family become best friends. So I ended up buying property out there, but it kind of spurred out. It's like tentacles, and you can go anywhere.
Whitetail hunting's accessible, right? And that's probably why.
Well, that's what. Yeah.
That's why you're addicted to it. I'm addicted to it. Chris is addicted to it. Sam's getting addicted to it.
He's not getting.
Yeah, he's
That's all
addicted.
we talk about.
Sam, what are your goals this year, Sam?
I want to kill my first buck this year.
Yeah.
If I just want to kill a deer this year, because I didn't kill one last year. I had a couple chances, but
well, they don't come every year.
No.
Not always. Yeah. What about with your bow? You want to get one with a bow?
Yeah, I want to get a bow, whether it's a doe or a buck. I want to try to kill him with a bow.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
We're just going to spend more time, because over the last maybe 5 years with both of the businesses that I have, it's been tough for me to get out. I haven't been able to commit, but I promised myself I would this year.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going up north this year.
What are you looking forward to the most, Chris? I know you're going on a moose hunt.
Yeah, no. I'm going to go on with Shanzy, so I'm going to have. It's what Jeff talks about, camaraderie. I don't have a tag, but I'm going to be there with. Shanzy and I are very close, so I'm going to be there to see him kill his bull. He's been waiting 40 years, although he's helped a ton of people kill bulls before, and he's actually killed bulls on other, because you can be the sub-permitee, so with his dad and stuff, but he's never been drawn, so now he is. So I'm going to share that with him, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I want to get on a track this year. And, practice.
Yeah.
Or I want to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
Well, you've been so busy working, right? And
I have
this
been.
year you're going to just commit to hunting a little bit more.
Yeah, but I'm also looking forward to seeing the boy kill something too, because I want to be there for that.
Yeah.
I gave up a little bit of tracking time when he killed his first one. I was with him more than I was tracking, and I wouldn't change that for the world. I got to share that with him. I'll bring that to my grave.
Yeah.
I thought that was the bomb to be there for that.
Oh yeah.
I would have been happy if he would have gotten one on his own, with my brother-in-law or something, but I was just glad to be there.
Yeah.
Something about your sibling, huh?
Yeah,
Or your kid?
yeah,
Not your
there's
sibling, but
nothing,
your kid.
Sibling.
Yeah.
Your kids.
Your kid.
Sibling.
Well, it's fun with the
Yeah,
sibling,
sibling,
too, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sam's going to get one this year.
I think so, too.
I got a feeling.
He's committed.
I hope
Yep.
so.
We'll see if the stars line up, and as he'll see deer, I can guarantee you that much.
Practice.
Yeah, that's it.
Practice.
Yeah.
That's what you always say.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you having us
Yeah.
up here, Jeff. It's
Yeah,
a
thank
beautiful
you.
place.
Thanks
and
for inviting us.
we're going to head over to Kittery and get some guns.
Yep, we can go get some guns.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for listening again.
Yeah, thanks
And,
for having us.
Yeah, this is great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. See ya. Thanks for listening to the Hunt Suburbia podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. We're going to release an episode every single Sunday throughout the season, throughout the entire year, and we will possibly be releasing some bonus episodes here and there throughout the week as people, come in freshly off a bow kill and tell their stories. We hope that happens throughout the season. There might be weeks where you get 2 or 3 bonus episodes. You might not get one for a couple of weeks, but there will be some bonus episodes. But you can count on us every single Sunday to have a new interview on throughout the season. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Big bucks I've been dreaming often, every night till I'm in a coffin. Vermont woods to the burbs of Boston, I'm looking for a tree to get lost in. Crisp mornings, little dust in the snow. Quality time, just me and my bow. Fall evenings, I know just where to go for some quality times for me and my bow. It's just me and my bow.